welcome to episode 44 of Spill the RT. I'm Eamon Shanahan and I'm here with Josh Stein. Hi, Josh.
Hello, 44. Holy cow. And we're literally 2 weeks away from our 1 year anniversary, folks. So stay tuned.
Oh my God,
stay
did tuned
for the I haven't done anything yet. We have literally discussed nothing about what that episode will be. I have no idea.
Did you order my flowers?
No.
I want some flowers and moe.
That's nice.
Direct order, please. In the Spill the RT mug.
I want illicit substances, so we'll have a conversation.
Okay, I don't know. I don't have access to those. I'm sorry. The access to those is prohibited. It's
nonetheless, it's episode 44, folks.
How about some pre-workout? I can send you some pre-workout. That would be decent. That would get you on a little high. Although I don't know your experience on highs now, Josh.
As always, I prefer my ice pick.
His ice pick. Well, we have a roundup of stories for us today, and we have a fabulous guest that we'll bring on in just a second. But before we do that, Josh, please tell us, what are we going to be discovering on Spill the RT today?
This week, the decline of the Tate, literally. A $32 million hand scroll. That's what it sold for at auction. 200 bidders. Images of light pollution, which themselves are kind of cool. A 1-year-old gets an exhibition in France. and a call for proposals for the sculpture garden of MAGA-approved American heroes. Dun, da, da. All that and a brand new guest are up next as we spill the RT. Welcome to episode 44.
44. I love that. I love that symmetry of the fours. You know, the fours.
I know.
The fours. It's fabby. Right. Well,
it is, right?
Let's bring our guest. It is all the way from London, where I am. So we're like not too far away. So please welcome Jade Johnson. Hi, Jade.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, girl. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, not at all. I'm so excited to have your smiling face all the way from London onto our wonderful Spill the RT show.
From the beautiful region of Penge.
Penge.
SE20.
SE20.
Let's not give away too many more details or any more digits.
GDPR. Yeah.
GDPR. Yeah, I know all that.
People showing up in Penge looking for me.
No, unless they have money for you for your next show.
Actually, that's so true. Or like roles for me to play.
Perfect.
Any, upcoming jobs, then you can look for me. But everyone else, stay away.
Perfect. Yep. Everyone else.
Nice.
Bye.
Stay away.
Throwing salt at them. Well, Jade, we have lots to speak about with you about what you're doing at the moment and all about you, and we have a little teaser of your beautiful voice as well later on in the show. But before that, we're going to go straight into our art stories. So, Josh, where are we heading to first?
Where you guys are. We're in London. Now, for those that don't know, Tate actually has 3 different museums.
It does.
There's Tate Britain, there's Tate Modern, and there's Tate Liverpool. I love Tate Liverpool. It was a fantastic museum because rebuilt all the time. But apparently Tate Britain is literally falling apart.
It is. And here is a picture of Tate Modern. Which is actually by me. I took this picture. So there's no copyright breaches here. But
the Tate Britain's buildings go back like 400 or 500 years, parts of them, right? And they are literally falling apart.
Oh, literally falling apart. Wow.
Yeah, and it's like going to be like billions of pounds, euros, whatever you guys are now willing to spend.
Monopoly money.
We're not spending a penny. But there's been a huge fall in visitors to these sort of museums and galleries, which we've seen in America of recent episodes of Spill the RT, where we spoke about some of the galleries in America trying to reform into different spaces and to approach things in different ways in order to bring some of the audiences into those spaces.
But the infrastructure crumbling is a little different here. This is. Right? Like this is like the National Museum. It's falling apart.
It is. But this wasn't what we were talking about. We're referring to a different article, but that's okay.
To the assigned reading, which was about the metaphorical decline rather than the
this is the physical decline of the Tate Britain. It's falling apart.
It's falling apart. It's crumbling to the ground. So what are they going to do to fix it?
That's the problem. Is there's no money to fund it.
There's no money
No,
anywhere.
And you know why there's no money to fund it? Because no one's going. They don't have anyone coming. They haven't got anyone coming in, so they've got no money.
What I have seen and having done research on this is what we're talking about in the US or the UK and other parts of the world, the visitor funds rarely actually pay for most of what it takes to make one of these museums go, right? Mm-hmm. And so when national funding gets pulled or gets dried up, in this case in Britain, this is what ends up happening. And what happens is it then takes considerably more money over time because the building starts to fall apart. Well, are you just going to close? Are you going to close Tate Britain?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Probably
right.
Not.
But the longer you wait, right? This is what's going on in France as well with the Louvre. They're going to spend $1 billion, billion euros to revamp what they could have fixed for half of that cost if they had just maintained their facilities.
Yeah.
Right. To me, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying, unlike the likes of the Royal Academy or the V&A, even they all have admission prices to theirs. Well, I suppose, whereas the Tate, they have only admission prices to their special exhibitions, to their kind of visiting shows or their temporary exhibitions.
Yeah.
So I suppose they're almost entitled to feel that pain because they don't have that income coming in. Other than from philanthropy or from government support or whatever.
But so this is what ends up happening, right? So in the US, all these places had funding pulled back in the 80s. For us, this goes back to Reagan in terms of where money dries up to support culture, right? And so yes, private business will step in, and then everything has someone's name attached to it at that point, and it's completely different relationship. And
would you like it to be the Josh Stein Tate?
Hell no. Hell no. If I had the kind of money to give away to set something up, you would never know I had done it. Because the whole point is to do it, not to have your name attached to it, right? The kind of person that has money and wants their name attached to things, it's about their ego and about anti-mortality and that I will go on.
Can it be both, maybe? I want to help, but I want everyone to know that it was me. Because I had to spend a lot of money on this, and I wouldn't want people going in and thinking, maybe it was Imelda's daughter. It wasn't Imelda, it was me.
It was Jade.
And, other people would just take credit for it if it was,
the
quietly
Jade Johnson
slipped across the table.
Well,
it rolls off the tongue.
It does.
Jade, more power to you to have that level of success that you could afford to have this kind of funding. Because we're talking about people that are I've got 100 million euros just sitting around. What am I going to do with it? That tranche of society,
Josh,
right?
You don't know. You have no idea.
I said more power to you.
Two sides of the world here. You don't know if this is a Penge mansion that I'm chilling in one of my many wings. Which will not be named after you now that we've had this conversation. But no, as somebody who frequently will head to somewhere like the Tate because it's free to enter, sit there with one cup of coffee for the whole day and do work from their cafe, I understand that they don't have a lot of money coming in from the footfall of London creatives who can't afford to buy more than one flat white. So I completely agree that the memberships and the joy of giving that some people feel when they are being philanthropic is all that they have.
Another little kind of slight anecdote to this, why I really wanted to talk about this article, was because of why people are not going in addition to this. And that is because of some of the curatorial decisions that are being made in these sort of spaces and how potentially woke they can be. And I think being an avid visitor to the Tate Modern and to spaces like that in central London, there are a lot of very inaccessible exhibitions that are being curated there that are what is this? Why is there a foot?
See, I guess to me, applying the woke label, I don't even know what that means anymore. It's a useless term, right?
It is a useless
I just think I just think that high art has always had a certain level of obscurantism to it, right? And that's
Mm.
part of, so the fact that we now have encouraged the same thing for populations who might never have been represented in these spaces before just means this is a space of obscure stuff that's not necessarily like accessible to people unless it's explained, right? That's why
Yeah.
it's not just curatorial decisions. It's the kind of people you have staffing, the kind of people you have doing the explanations, like a lot goes into making something welcoming and open to people versus like this isn't for you.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
whether
for
it's free or
sure.
not, you can walk in and feel that. I certainly have any number of times. It's not about the cost per se. It's like, what are you actually trying to cultivate? Who are you trying to embrace? Right. And I just think that high fine art of any kind has a certain kind of
Yeah.
like limiting factor built into it, both in
There,
terms of how it presents, but also in terms of kind of people they try to attract.
true.
Yeah,
There.
I feel like. Oh no, you go ahead.
No, 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 go on.
No, you.
I feel like there's been a real push, like especially post COVID, of trying to get younger people into these
Yeah.
establishments, especially in London. I know, like seeing queues outside of the V&A for Harry Styles fashion exhibitions and Taylor Swift song trail, whatever it was called, where you could go through and see her outfits and things like that. It's them opening up to try and make it more accessible for, you know, the younger, what are they? They're not even Gen Z, Gen X, whatever's after that. I don't even know. The
Gen
10 and
Alpha.
11-year-olds.
The 10 and
Gen
11-year-olds.
Alpha, Gen Beta, they've already flipped.
It keeps all the gens. Jennifer Garner, Jennifer Lopez,
all the gens.
They are opening the doors and they said, "Jen, you are welcome here."
Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer X, all the.
Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, well, before I continue opening that worms, because I think that can just keep spilling, we're gonna just slip it closed. And move on to our next story. So we're moving now into.
And we're staying in London.
Well,
this is an auction that just happened at Sotheby's. It's in London, right? Because it was an auction for, so if you're coming at it from the West perspective, I think paying millions of dollars for a hand scroll seems kind of strange.
Yes.
But if you're coming at it from an Asian perspective, where this is actually like a version of art that goes back for thousands of years, right? It's a way of having stories that can carry forward. So like what you're looking at is a scroll of a famous story. The content itself is well known already. At the time this was drawn by this person, like 500-600 years ago now at this point, this was in the middle of a transition period between different ways of doing these hand scrolls. I am not an expert on any of this. This is just what the research turned up, right? But this thing is so impressive that 200 different bidders bid this up to 32 million euros.
Crazy money, and here's
it's insane.
And
so the other part you're looking at here, so the other part of this is what makes this scroll so interesting is each of these little counter seals is how a provenance is established. These are all the famous people who owned this thing at one point or another in the last half millennium. Yeah, this is crazy. Like
crazy stuff.
This is beyond bizarre to me in sense of like, here's a painting and every person who owns it stamps the back of the painting. And so when you get this painting, by the way, it's not just a painting, it was owned by Madonna and this person and that, right? That's the logic of this, which is just, I just thought it was so, it's not weird. It's just so different of how to think about like how creative objects move through time.
I think that's amazing. It's like a passport stamp. But for super rich people that have owned it in the past, I think that's like you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 there because you're getting the history of the piece itself, and then you're also getting the history of who's owned it and the families it's passed through, and that in itself is really, really cool. I think it said in the article they were bidding for 95 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. To be that auctioneer.
Which for an art auction of any kind, but for an art auction, we're typically 5 minutes max because all these people are on telephones, and but this was like literally an hour and a half as they bid up to 32 million euros. Wow. It's insane. It's just insane. But apparently, we've talked before about what people are willing to collect. This is a tradition of collecting that goes back long before the West was even aware of the fact that it was going on. Right? Like that's how long ago some of this stuff dates back to. Crazy.
I think it started off, its previous selling price was just about $11 million or something like that. So it's
Only.
really, yeah. I know only, but it has more than doubled since that
That's
bid. So which
amazing.
is kind of, it's amazing to see how that value is increasing. Something
Mm.
else that kind of came up in that article as well was again another observation of how young people are bidding a lot more. Those under that 40-year-old mark. Now, me personally, when I'm spending my $32 million, it would be on kind of, I don't know, trips around the world or something.
Probably, I don't know.
Your typical crypto 8 or 9 figure salary person or value person, right? Is a crypto person is not going to be 55 years old, right?
No.
They're half my age, and so they have to attract these folks. They don't have a choice. That's where the money is, and so they have to find ways to enticing them to want to bid. They're not interested in Renoir, but they certainly are interested in ancient Chinese.
But yeah, I think because
apparently.
they probably see the hardcore investment in that. They see that this is going to increase in value. They can see that this is obviously worth something. But also, I do also think that people of that generation of the millennials, we type, the cool people, we see that like there's a need for holding on to legacy and bringing that forward.
See, I think there's a different way to see that, right? Sotheby's has been trying for years to get Western stuff sold in Asia, and it ain't working. So instead, they're trying to attract those same Asian buyers, but they're trying to sell them what they want, which is Asian art, not Western art. Right? Like eventually, by course correction in the market, this shit's not selling. No one's buying this. Maybe we should try to sell stuff that people actually want. Like if you want to stay in business as an auction house, you really don't have a choice.
I can't wait to have it in my bathroom, just over the mirror, just so I can see it.
I mean, what do you do with your $32 million scroll? Like, that's crazy.
What would you do with a $32 million art object of any kind? Right? Like I don't
stick it on the wall.
Put up with some blue tack there.
Stick it on the wall and never go near it with a glass of red wine. Just to be safe.
But the security alarm systems alone, whether you're in Penge or not, that alone.
Yeah, the $32 million scroll here would not last long.
No.
Word would travel down the street.
You got to think, you got the 32 million that you put into the thing, and then it's like, well, I got to frame it. I got to make sure it's okay. So you're looking at multiple millions of dollars more to secure this. This is not the rational logic that any person here having this conversation has. I'm sorry, but we just haven't. And actually, I don't want to, right? Because when you reach that level of abstraction from actually doing stuff, I don't want to have that disconnection from reality. I just don't.
Okay.
Right? They've done studies on this. The more money you make, the less connected you are from the actual world around you. At a certain point, you clearly, in the world, look around the world today, you cross a threshold, and then actual connection to real human beings and their concerns is gone.
Yeah.
I would love to be a case study for you on that. If you would love to give me an enormous amount of money, I'll journal and let you know how my connection to other people is going.
Think of the shows we could put on.
No, because if I had 32 million, the first thing I would be doing is buying a theatre and then just putting on whatever I want to put on there. I'd be making a community theatre. People could come and go. You know what I mean? If we're being honest, that's what I would spend 32 million on. But if you wanna give me the money, Josh, you know where to find me. I'm in Penge. I'm in SE20.
Talk to Eamon. I got nothing. I got nothing.
There's some shade going on there, I'm telling you. There ain't any pennies here. I can sell you I can give you a cake, or I can give you a painting.
Cake.
That's as much as I can do. Okay, let's move swiftly along. Moving now into the sky.
Well, actually, we go down under, because these are images from Australia. So to another Commonwealth nation. See that this is all about the Commonwealth this week, apparently.
Love it.
For those Americans here, we're talking about places where Britain still has an influence.
Stop that now. Behave.
So what caught my eye about this is put up the image. So this is an image of what looks like when you shoot a still. As a photographer, right? You can put your image up, let it shoot for a long time. And so this is a long-term image of the night sky from Australia. And what you're seeing there is the satellites That's all satellite traces. And so on the one hand, I thought this was a really cool and kind of beautiful picture. On the other hand, it means the night sky is no longer shootable for most of the world from any location without having these kinds of tracers in the sky above you. Yep. Like that's the flip side of our friend Elon's Starlink is wherever you go, there's thousands of satellites now around us, above us.
So we all love this convenience of technology and how like wonderful it is in our pockets and how fast we get connected to things. However, as a result, you are now literally destroying what the view is in front of you.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking on the screen on the right hand side, seeing how gridded that is just so unnatural. It's actually quite disheartening. And I think I believe they want to have another 40,000 satellites in the sky within the next number of years, which is like only going to make this like what? It's just going to be white.
So here's the thing, right? If you did the same kind of photography and let it go, you would have the same kind of tracer lines, right? But they would be the universe's tracer lines as opposed to the human-made tracer line. And the question is that necessarily a good or bad thing? Given we're doing this on Zoom as part of our backup, given that this is going out to the interwebs, where the thing you're looking at is what's going to actually be letting you see this in the first place.
Stop calling me a hypocrite.
No, it's not about hypocrisy. It's about
a really tricky debate.
It's about seeing things, literally seeing things for what they are, right? Like we are all complicit in this. The question I have is, isn't there still beauty in what resulted from it? Right? Completely. As an abstract geometric painter, this caught my eye immediately, not because of the social impact or any of that. I was like, oh, that's actually some really cool grid work that we've produced through random action. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things of, the effect that technology is having on the planet. It's when you see it, it's harder to kind of ignore. Yeah, so I guess it's an ignorance is bliss kind of thing, even though we're not ignorant, we know that. But when you see it laid out like this, it is kind of overwhelming.
So this is my other point, right? Like, so, beavers make dams. Beavers can disrupt entire ecosystems by building their dams, right? Beavers can literally change the physical landscape around them for hundreds, if not thousands of miles. I'm just saying this is what species do, that we're no different than any other species. And I think that part of the reason we get ourselves... Well, we get ourselves into problems by thinking that somehow we're different than everything else around us, as opposed to being one with everything else around us, right?
But and so there's probably more of us than the beavers, no?
Actually, the ants are the ones who are truly in control.
Oh, for goodness sake. We're going from beavers to ants. What? Can we not take responsibility?
For anything. I think we can leave the beavers and maybe not try and scapegoat the beavers and say, it could be worse. We could be destroying dams.
All I'm saying is this: there's research now that shows that plants have a certain level of consciousness and awareness of the world. So the vegans that think that somehow by eating stuff that's plant matter, they're somehow not killing a consciousness. Sorry, to live is to die. To eat is to survive. To be in the universe means something else suffers because you here. It's what you do with that suffering, as the Buddha pointed out, that makes a difference between a good and happy life and not. Right? I just think humans would get much on with their lives if they'd stop talking about how we could go backwards and say, look, this is what we are doing. What are we going to do next? Is it a bad thing that you're looking at these tracers or not? I don't know. Given that we're doing this using those tracers, I don't know.
Well, we made it to 44 episodes, so...
No, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
To lighten the mood, I showed this image to a friend earlier. And he remarked that the right-hand side of the image looked quite phallic, and the lines were... That's where his mind went. So I like that we're thinking about like the existential and what have we done to the planet? What are we doing to the planet? The grid, the universe is literally clawing back at us. Look at those lines. And my friend's just like, looks like you're shooting a load. So...
Well, it's not.
There's a lot of meaning that can be held in one single image.
Mm-hmm. There's a big phallus speck in the middle of the image.
There's a big old ween. So there is that as well. But I'm glad that we took shots of the vegans.
Hey. Anytime I can take shots at vegans, I will, damn it.
Oh dear.
Come get me. Come on,
vegan?
you weak, sad little people who won't have protein in your lives.
I am not vegan. However, I do respect those who choose to live that way.
I was just interested to know because of Josh.
Yeah.
As I always say, come cancel me, folks. Come find me.
Okay,
Other conversation, but yeah.
Let's not cancel the show in the meantime. Thanks. Anyway,
we want the controversy.
Before we do get cancelled, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after the big. We'll be right back after these messages. Nua Collective, an arts community collective with art, artists, and art publications with fresh work, news, and updates added weekly to our online collection at nuacollective.com. Here you will also find our Nua Journal featuring articles and podcasts, which are also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss us out on spilling the art tea in our weekly roundups every Monday. Now, there we go. So, catch us, Nua Collective, www.nuacollective.com. Josh, where are they to go? What are they to?
They're supposed to like, share, subscribe, send to 3 friends, leave a comment, buy some swag, send us a donation, find us a sponsor.
Buy some swag.
We got swag. Show us the swag. Come on, Amy.
Okay,
let's see the swag.
Here's some swag. So we've got some t-shirts. We've got some mugs. We've got some caps. Have you ever heard of the term FOMA, Jade?
Fear of meeting animals?
No.
That's a vegan's. That's a vegan's thing.
You're scared of the beavers, Josh. You've got a fear of meeting animals.
Fear of missing art.
They have a fear of missing
me. Fear of missing art. That's great. I love that.
Not fear of meeting animals. But way to keep it on trend.
He asks that question of every guest. That's the best answer that we've gotten thus far.
It is. You get top marks, Jade, but we didn't think that you wouldn't, to be fair. We've got lots going on with Nua Collective coming up in the next few weeks. We have a new little virtual exhibition that is going to be launched in 2 weeks' time, so stay tuned for information on that. And also, we have our first anniversary coming up soon, so please do continue to like, share, subscribe, as Josh just said, and tell all of your friends. And if you'd like to come on and be a guest just like Jade, if you've got the pizzazz like she does, then do give us a shout at hello@nuacollective.com. So, Josh, where are we heading to next? Where is our flight taking us?
Off to Paris we go. A short hop from where you all are. Excellent. Now, let me ask you this.
Oh, dear.
Do you think a 20-month-old should have a solo show?
Yes.
Well, if you go to, what's it called? Decameron in Paris. Thumbelina, the artist name of an unnamed 20-month-old. These pieces are selling for $230, so I guess about €200 per piece. The child is 20 months old at this point. Now, how are we calling this child an artist? No, number one, the child has friends and family members who are in the arts. Always helps to have connections, does it not?
Nepo baby.
Number two. What is the key characteristic here? When the child is done, she is able to somehow signal to her mother that she is done and ready for a new piece of paper to do her paintings on.
Well,
yes.
Yes.
It's kind of like saying, well, if she knows how to use the toilet, she also could be an artist, because we're talking about essentially the same thing. I can signal something, therefore I'm an artist. Look, I'm just putting it out there. I'm interested to see what others have to say.
Incoming shade. If Robbie Williams can have an exhibition, why can't a 21-year-old or 21-month-old child?
Month-old. So true. So true.
I mean, there is that. There's another little thing that I noticed in like finding imagery for this, and this guy here, this guy is the director of the gallery that has programmed this artwork, and this is his debut curatorial exhibition in this space, which in my mind comes back to, okay, he wants to make a spread. He wants to get something in the newspapers or online or wherever it is people get their news from these days. And I feel like potentially that may be a contributing factor to this.
Well,
yes.
I don't know if either of you have spent a lot of time around toddlers who are painting. They tend to produce a lot of artwork, right?
Yeah.
Like they just produce a lot. So even at 200 euros a pop, if this guy gets enough people in there, he's going to see bank like no one has seen bank in
money machine. And like, if he's not an honest man, left non-dominant hand at the Decameron, and you've got yourself never-ending money, and you just, you know, send out these artworks. But I mean, who made them?
Just Thumbelina.
Is it Thumbelina? Thumbelina, that is a thing, isn't it? That was a book or something.
It's a nursery rhyme. It's like
a nursery rhyme.
It's a Disney thing.
My question is, how does the child sign these? Did they do like a handprint on the back of the paper or something to say this was Thumbelina's? Like, obviously, it's 20-month-old child, 20-month-old, right? Like, they're not writing. This is not. There's no signature here, right? Like, this is like scrawlings that children make. I had kids. Okay, they could play with stuff.
It's about the displacement of the color and the pigment on the paper.
It's about the end of civilization as we know it, and the fact that collectors can somehow be tricked into like collecting just about anything.
But I guess like a lot of art, people are invested in the story sometimes more than actually what they are buying, and it's a great story, whether or not it's, you know, true. Whether or not
I think it's true, because they've been documenting this child now for like a year, apparently. So it's not that the child's not producing artwork or something, right? To me, it speaks more to exactly the fact that this is a system that can absorb just about anything, as long as a certain level of provenance has been passed.
We should get Thumbelina on the show. Get her to voice her opinion. She might shake her rattle or something. She'd be like,
what happens when Thumbelina decides that she wants to do something else? What if she's like, Mama, I want to join the show choir? Then
that would add to the rarity, right? And so
it's a very rare Thumbelina. You're so right. If anything, Thumbelina needs to go into retirement before 24 months, and then we have got.
You collect the early Thumbelina. Oh yes, month 17 to 19, very different than month 22 to 24. You can see just as month 24 is coming, how she's like, I've had enough of this. It's time to do something else.
And like Thumbelina's in year 6 at school, and her art teacher can't get through to her because she's saying, do you know how much money I used to make from art when I was 20 months old? I made your salary from one
Jam your 3D cube and triangle. I'm done with this. I was over this.
Color in between the lines, please. Never.
Come on.
We don't like this. Well, Thumbelina's getting way too much airtime now, so I'm finished with her. She's done. That tea is spilled.
Goodbye.
We have fallen into his trap. Nap time.
Good night, Thumbelina.
Night. Get your blankie.
See you at month 40 for your 5th solo show.
That's it.
Goodness sake. Okay, we are now going to see some even more chaos over stateside.
So off to Washington we go. There has been a new decree, my friends. An American sculptural garden is in the works. And
it's an executive order.
Are you a modern sculptor? They don't want you. If you work abstract, if you work in things that are non-realist, they are not interested. Nope. They want people who can give them giant-sized, realist faces of the greatest American heroes.
Of our time.
Of anyone's time, really.
Can I just say, Mr. Trump, if you're listening, There's this amazing little place you should check out. It's called Madame Tussauds, and they have these really accurate depictions of some modern heroes that you might want to check out.
And Disney has its Hall of the Presidents.
Mm-hmm.
They have these life-size, the same kind of thing, Madame Tussauds, but in Disney instead, the talking animatronic Hall of Presidents. It's fantastic. So these are our, and admittedly, look, we've got Reagan, we've got Amelia Earhart, we've got Kobe Bryant, we've got Albert Einstein. These are American heroes. These deserve to be put into giant-sized heads.
I forgot Julia Child. Julia Child is going in there, and I mean, you got to give it to her. She's great. She's great.
See?
I mean, all important people. All important people, for sure.
Definitely. And also, if you do get the commission, you get 200K in your pocket.
That's so. If you are, that's for each
like
one.
Enough.
That's for each one. That's for each one.
I was like, that actually doesn't sound fair.
But there's 250 of them, so you got to figure maybe you get more than one, and then. So if you're an artist, if you're a sculptor, if you work in materials like stone, and you want to support the American Sculptural Garden of Greatness, or whatever they're going to call it.
I just feel that, this is an amazing lineup, but I did have some personal options that I would personally go for. As someone who's not from America, but from a young age has been influenced a lot by American media, namely the Disney Channel. I think that
Same.
was an American hero in the 250 there. You need to have Raven-Symoné, and you've got to have Hilary Duff and Miley Cyrus because of the cultural impact
100%.
that they have had a whole generation. Okay?
Their views might contradict his, though.
I expected there to be a Kardashian, right? I'm just saying, if we're talking about great contributors to modern society.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, individually and as a group.
Kim Kardashian's ass has been everywhere in the United States.
I thought you were talking about makeup brands, clothing lines.
Sure.
Social media, reality television, all of them, but also ass and lips and ass.
What's her name? Paris Hilton, another one. Like, I just think if we're going to do this, then we really should just, you know what? Fuck it.
Cultural phenomenons.
There could be like a Google form where we can all just pitch in and do a popularity contest and see who ends up at the top.
Love it. Just throw it up into your story and just
throw it up. Yeah. But who wants in?
But
and I'll just vote for myself over.
But of the Disney girls,
and over.
For those that don't know, we're looking at a picture of a bunch of the Disney Channel girls that Jade gave us.
Right now.
But Jade, which of the girls that we have in women? Because I'm a feminist. Yeah. I would say women. I mean, they're girls then. Now they're women, right? Which of these 7 or 8 of them? I think, right? Yeah. Which is if you could only have one?
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, 100%.
Miley Cyrus raised us. There's a whole load of us. She raised us. She took us through Hannah Montana. She took us through
the Wrecking Ball,
the Wrecking Ball era, bangers, Plastic Hearts, Endless Summer Vacation. I've grown with that woman. I've grown up with her.
I feel like Britney's missing from this list, given that she was a Disney girl too.
It's a very specific era because.
Well, she does predate these, definitely.
She predates them. And the thing that I'm going for here is very key nostalgia, okay? We are talking about a period of time where it was Raven-Symoné, Hilary Duff, Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, maybe Zendaya. We're maybe reaching to Zendaya and Sabrina Carpenter.
Where's Raven?
Well, I actually don't really fuck with her solo music. That's the only caveat. Okay, so what I've done here is I have performers whose albums I love, and it's my company, so I get to choose what shows we do. So this is the visual of my ideal concert.
Okay. Well, and technically, Raven-Symoné is not a Disney girl. She's a Cosby girl.
But she ran Disney Channel. She ran that.
She did.
That might be.
She was making them a lot of money.
But before there was ever Disney in her life, she was NBC.
She was this big and she was working. But let's not be mistaken here. I know this is not a podcast about Disney Channel, but let's just make this very clear. Raven-Symoné was running that whole place.
Oh, completely. She still is. She's got her spin-off show now there.
She still is. But like at that age, especially for a woman who wasn't, stereotypically thin, and wasn't white, it was incredible that she was getting the exposure she was. So we do salute her. We'll have a song by Raven-Symoné, but I wasn't listening to her like albums. Does she have albums? She must have albums.
Oh, well, she got the Cheetah Girls.
Yeah, like the Cheetah Girls was everything to me. 1 and 2, 3.
Are you surprised about my knowledge of this, Josh?
I was going to say no. You went Josh. I was going to say not at all. Not at all.
These are things I know only in passing. I'm an old man.
Oh dear. Well, I think we should learn a little bit more about this show. Tell us what's happening with this. Where is it going on? What is it about?
Yeah.
Well, other than the fact that it's celebrating the fabulous girls of Disney.
Mm-hmm. And it's my pitch for who should be in this garden. I run a company called Sad Girl Shows, and we put on cabaret events with very niche subjects. Okay, so we've had like a Glee cabaret, Smash, the hit TV show, now Broadway musical. We had a Smash cabaret. We did That's So Sweet Life of Sad Girls, which was all Disney Channel movies. And a couple of these people obviously would have featured. But this show specifically is celebrating the musical careers of Disney Channel gals who are now Disney Channel women. But the albums, the music, the songs, whether that's from Camp Rock or Demi's most recent album. Do you know what I mean? So getting together a bunch of amazing people, musical theatre vocalists, up-and-coming pop artists, and they come together. We put on a great show. It's really stupid. It's really fun. And it's on the 1st of June, not far from Southwark Station at the Union Theatre. And it's just going to be really nostalgic, really fun, and really silly. So that's what we do.
Get it in your calendars, folks. Get it on. Tickets are on Eventbrite, and you can see all of that information on @SadGirlsShows or through Jade's own website, I'm assuming too. Is it online?
Yeah, it's a www.sadgirlcrew.co.uk. We also sell swag.
Amazing. Click on it, get it. Click on it, get it.
Get it done.
That's really cool, and that's really exciting. We want to know a bit more about you though as well, Jade. So
I am the sad girl.
what is your like background?
So I'm musical theatre through and through. I do attribute back to watching too much High School Musical, Camp Rock sort of crap when I was younger, and thinking the only way that I could emote is through the medium of song. So I do a lot of new musical theatre around London. I've been working in London for 10 years. I started Sad Girl Shows 2 years ago because I wasn't getting hired, and I knew a lot of amazing singers who weren't getting hired. And the only time we got to sing really was in auditions where we were cacking our pants and would always end up feeling really crap about ourselves. So I was like, what if we could just sing for fun? What if I could find a way to pay people to sing for fun and give them a platform? And if people come and see them, that might help them. But if not, we've just had a good time. So since then, I've made a huge amount of new friends. We've built like our little community, and it's really, really important to me now. And it's like the most fun I have doing this job is when I am on stage with those people and singing. So it's just everything to me.
Love it.
That's the lesson to all those creatives out there that are frustrated, right? Don't wait for someone else to do it. Just do it yourself. It always works. No. This the podcast is the same thing, right? Like, you don't wait for someone else to do it. If you want to make it happen, you make it happen. That's the whole point.
Get out there.
I see that a lot with emerging performers who are kind of like, they're just waiting for their agent to get them something, or they're waiting for them to get in the door. It's like, just make something happen, invite people to it, get yourself on the stage, get yourself performing, and do something.
Yep.
That's the thing. And the ultimate goal is that $32 million. So we can
100%.
open a venue and
100%.
everyone can just do good things and not
100%.
wait for Six the Musical to cut them from finals again. Not that I'm bitter about that.
Oh dear. Okay. Oh dear. Taking it down. So we'll move on to the next image. So this is a picture of you at the Phoenix Arts Club. So what is happening here?
This was the very first Sad Girl show, actually. So it was
Oh,
August,
amazing.
2 years ago, and I didn't know if anyone was going to come. I think I figured out quickly that your friends will always come to the first thing you do, and then they'll drop like flies for the other subsequent 27 things you do, which is so fair because we don't have any money. Why would I ask you to spend it on me? But I was so surprised to see we sold the whole venue, and there were people who had no idea who I was there. And that was crazy. So people had just come. The first concept was Sad Girl Summer. So it was just like pop songs by sad people. So Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, things like that. Josh,
Adele.
I reckon that's right up your street, mate. I
like nothing better than sad girl songs. Come on, it doesn't get any better than that.
And it was just like, yeah, it was amazing. And then I got the bug. So that was the very first one.
I love it.
And then we left and went into Soho, and we ate pizza in the park, and it was just such a good day. Because London, when it's summertime, it just
London
feels
when
like
the sun is out at summertime. It's fabulous.
That's true. It's freezing today, but yeah, it feels like you're in a movie when you're in like Soho Square. I mean, a bonkers movie with a lot of weird shit happening, but like it's just it's the best place.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fabulous singers and the fabulous you, we are going to do a late night exclusive now and showcase just a little clip of you doing what you do best. So here we go, folks. Have a listen to this. There we go. What pipes you've got, Jade?
Wow.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
No auto-tune at all.
How often do you play out like that where you're the focus of the singing?
I mean, do you mean like in the shows that I'm putting on?
Well, but just like in clubs and playing around the city, I would imagine, no?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time it was just me waiting for someone to give me the opportunity. I mean, when I do the Psycho shows, I will always do a song because I've picked the theme and I just really want to. But I don't like making it about me. It's always about like giving everyone else a chance to do their thing. And if I just happen to slay, that can't be helped. Unfortunately. So.
And slay you will.
And slay I shall. Sometimes I do not slay. Because also I get to the day of the event and I've thought about organising it and I've thought about hosting it and all of that. And then I get there and I'm like, I've not warmed up. I can't remember. I didn't learn the song. And I'll give it a go. And sometimes it is horse caca. It's terrible. But everyone's nice to me because I've put the thing on and they're like, oh, bless you.
It seems like you're doing quite a bit of producing though as well, which is super. Do you like wearing that hat?
It stresses me out into hives, but there was the first year we did it, I did one show every month, and I would leave the show and I'd immediately be on Instagram promoting the next one, and it was hard work, but it was amazing, and that year just flew by, and we did so much cool stuff. So I love it so much, and I hope I get to do more of it.
Definitely. Watch this space, folks.
Producing's the kind of stuff where once you get your feet wet in it, it's like it's either in your blood and you can't let it go, or you're like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't deal with it, right? Because it's like it is more stress than people I think can imagine. It's the worst thing ever. But when it comes off and everything you're like, that's like the best release
it's
ever.
So great.
But you can't ever plan for just one, right? It's always the next one is what matters, not the last one I just finished. And it's just that's the cycle.
It's a bit addictive that way, isn't it? Yeah. But that's being a creative, I find as well. Like I've had times where I've really focused on releasing and writing my own music, and I'll put something out and I'll be like, okay, what's next? And you just can never be satiated. You're always like, I need to do the next thing and the next thing. It's not healthy, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, because it's ultimately problem solving, right? And so you become a problem junkie, and like I want to solve stuff. I want stuff, and so I make half those problems, right? Like we make those problems for. No one's telling me I have to do this. No one said to you, "Oh, you got to put this on." You made that choice, and it's like, well, shit. I sent that emotion. Now I gotta deal with it.
Shit. This guy I worked with before, he's an amazing producer. His name's Stefan Abingdon, and he said to me, the thing I always try and remember is nobody asked for this. No one's waiting for you. You're not like Beyonce. No one's waiting for your new album. No one's waiting for your next show. So you are the only person who knows this is happening. You're the only person who cares. And if it's great, people will care. But like, let that go. Nobody asked for this.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
And if you get it.
And if you can't find a way to care about it, it's not a project worth putting your time and energy into.
Yeah.
That's where you also have to walk away from some stuff, right? Like it was a good idea 11 o'clock the night before, but at 9 a.m. the next morning, this ain't gonna work. So I'll move on to the next one. That's bad either.
That's after having too many PTs, that's just how that works. Well, I feel like we have learned a load about you, Jade, and we need to learn more about you, and we need to get you back on again because you're just a fabulous energy, and you're just
this is so much fun.
But thank you so much for joining us today on Spill the RT. You've been amazing, so thank you.
Me.
Please make sure that you check her out at Sad Girls Shows. The tag is just below down there, so check that out. And also, you will find her at sadgirlscrew.com. So we will tag all of those in the description below for you to get in touch. That's all the time we have for today, but do remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, share it to all of our friends, all of that sort of jazz. See, Josh, I can do it too. I have it rolled off the tongue. It's just I need to give you a job too sometimes. So bing, 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 get it out there. And if you would like to be a guest on the Spill the RT podcast, please do get in touch with us at hello@newcollective.com. You have been great. Thank you, Jade, and thank you, Josh, and we will see you all next week when we spill the RT. Bye.
Bye.